kind of reaction I want to hear. Okay, so co-production of Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, Warner Brothers Japan. We have our filmmakers here, we have our voice actors here. We're going to have some fun. When are you going to buy this? On digital?
Right now.
Exactly, right now. And when's it on Blu-ray and DVD and Blu-ray Steelbook?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, May 8th. Very good. All right, let's bring up our panelists to get this rolling. Respected playwright, novelist, and screenwriter from Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann. Yeah, give it up. You know it? And the writer of the original Japanese screenplay for Batman Ninja, Kazuki Nakashima. All right. Oh, you know him, you love him, you gotta be with this guy. The original writer and illustrator of Afro Samurai. He created Afro Samurai. Say it with me. Afro Samurai. Created the avatar design. Bob's already waving. Created the avatar design for the Japanese Academy Award-winning Summer Wars, and nominated for an Emmy Award for the best long animation on Afro Samurai Resurrection. Character designer, Bob Okazaki. And the best dressed man in town. He's gold. How much do you love that shirt, too? This man created the opening animation for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And the opening animation for the video game series for Dragon Quest. Meet our director, Jumpei Mizusaki. She is the Wonder Woman for the DC superhero girls. Jumpei, sit right there. Bingo. They're going to stand. I love this. Nobody ever does that. She is the Wonder Woman for the DC superhero girls. She's been Daphne for the Scooby-Doo franchise for 19 years. She is our, oh my God, there's so many things. She's done Catwoman and Selena Kyle for numerous productions. And you know, where's our Selena Kyle now? Great Griffin. She is Bubbles in the Powerpuff Girls. She is the pride of the bronies, this Twilight Sparkle. No bronies in the audience? What the heck? The first time ever. And Raven in the Teen Titans. And you know her as Harley Quinn, Miss Tara Strong. Arrested Development. Yeah. Veep. Yeah. I said Veep. Better. And today, the ultimate yin to Batman's yang, our Joker, Tony Hale. You want to talk about range? How about Sonic the Hedgehog and Batman? Roger Craig Smith! Mari? There we are. How about that for stealth? And Mari, our interpreter. We are going to have to share microphones. So, let's, you two can share those. You two share those. You two, okay, good. And, yes. All right, I'll take two. All right, a quick reminder, everybody on stage except for Jumpei will be appearing at Kino, say it wrong. That's what I was trying to say. Kinokuniya. Did I get that right?
Yes.
All right. tomorrow night, 5:30 to 7:30, we're going to do a little Q&A, and then we're going to do a signing on some exclusive collectible posters. Everybody's invited. Come on down. First come, first served. And these folks are going to entertain you over there. And if you haven't seen it, it's an amazing store right across from Bryant Park, over around 6th and 42nd, I believe. So let's start off with the filmmakers. Now that you've seen the film with audiences both in WonderCon and here with live audiences, what did they react to that surprised you, and what did they react to that filled you a little with pride?
皆さんこれで西海岸とニューヨーク東海岸と両方で、アメリカのファンの前で一緒に見れたんですけど、どういう場面での反応がびっくりされました？それどの場面の反応で、これを入れてよかったと思いました？
いや、基本的にこう受けてほしいなと思うところでは全部非常にやっぱ反応良くて嬉しいんですけども、何よりやっぱりブルースが、宣教師のふりをしている時の頭のコウモリマークに笑ってくれたのが嬉しいですね。
So fundamentally, you guys actually all reacted on the scenes that we wanted you to react to. So for that, I was very, very happy. In terms of what made me really happy though, was that scene where he's dressed as the monk and that back tonsure. I'm so glad you got that.
Anything down there?
Oh, me?
そうですね。なんだろう、とにかく笑ってもらえたのが本当に嬉しくて、これ受けなかったらどうしようね、笑ってもらえなかったらどうするみたいなので、本当3人でもうドキドキしてたんで、みんなが楽しんでもらえたのが本当に嬉しいです。
Well, let's see. I mean, honestly, I'm just happy you all laughed, period. If you didn't laugh, or worse, if you had booed, I mean, all three of us are kind of worried about that, so I'm just happy that you guys enjoyed it.
Did they have any reason to worry?
心配する必要なかったですね。No, but my heart was thumping through the whole thing. Are they going to get it? Are they going to have fun?
Well, let me go this way. Knowing what you know now and hearing how they react, would you have done anything different?
じゃあ、監督に答えてもらいますけど、この反応とか見て、あれも含めたらよかったとか、あれは取り除かなかったらよかったとか、もう場面とかありますか？
入れとけばよかった要素？入れとけばよかったやつ？質問が変わっちゃったんで今びっくりしてる。
I'm a little surprised because I didn't quite expect that question. Yeah, I was expecting to answer the first one.
Well, what's the first answer?
じゃあ最初の質問。
いやでも笑ってほしい部分、ここが面白いだろうな、ここが楽しいだろうなっていう部分が皆さんと同じだったので、本当そこは嬉しかった。
Well, actually, I agree with the other two in that, I mean, I'm so glad because the things I thought would be funny for you, you all reacted with laughter, and the parts that I wanted to make really exciting, you seem to get excited about. So that I have to say, I agree. I'm very happy about that.
国境を越えた感じがすごい嬉しかった。
I feel like this was a work that is cross-cultural and knows no borders. で、あとなんかしまった、この場面も入れてよかったっていう場面とかありますか？展開とか。
ベインは帰れたのかなっていう。
If I had to think about it, I'm like, oh wait, did Bane make it back? And how would he have gone back? Oh, you're right. Oh man.
別のとこにいるからね。
Or maybe he ended up somewhere else.
That's the sequel.
それが続編ですね。
ベインの相撲取りの話が続くわけですね。
You mean the continuation of Bane, the sumo wrestler?
That and then it'll be kind of like that search for Spock, where oh God, you left and we got to go back for him.
それだけじゃなくて、じゃあベインを見つけにまた戦国日本に戻らなきゃいけないっていうお話になるんじゃないですか。
そういう手もあるけど、いろいろありますよ。
Well, yeah, I guess you have that storyline, but I can think of a couple more.
Can't wait.
すごく楽しみです。
Roger, Tara, and Greg, you've all done voices for these characters in different varieties. You do G-rated, you do R-rated, and you do anime. What do you have to do differently, and especially how did you do anything differently for this film?
I did a little bit differently because when I'm doing a lot of games like the Arkham games and Infinity games, you're fighting, and so Catwoman talked a little bit more. She was a little bit deeper and tougher. And when I saw the beautiful costumes, my beautiful character designer put her in these incredible outfits, that hat with the veil, and there was such a femininity to her, which she is feminine, but I lightened up her voice just a little bit more, just made it a tiny bit lighter. Like that.
So I've done so many iterations of Harley, and they're all so different. Obviously, DC Girls is much lighter and more fun, and there's been a lot darker. But there's something very special about this one, and to say, what Grace said is so true. The design is so beautiful, and it looks so beautiful, and the costumes are so beautiful, and you should definitely tell them a lot of people are going to be cosplaying what they saw. In fact, I want one. And there's some moments for Harley in this that are more realistic, more real and authentic, even though she gets crazy. Like, there's some really beautiful moments between her and Joker, and I'm crazy for our fight scene. I love our fight scene, but it's just when you
Real life?
yeah, yeah, it was just a different version in this really beautiful, unique experience. So thank you guys for creating that for us.
This is the second time I've been disappointed because my original choice was to go with a very thick and very effeminate German accent for Batman. And they just won't let me do it, so... no, oh, that's the Batman! Joker, the game is over now! Oh, you think you're so smart! I have the toys. But they won't... Am I ruining the character for everyone now again? No, I've approached this the same way every time, thankfully. Sorry. Hey, hi. When did you guys get here? No, I think I've approached it the same way each time. And I've said this about the Joker versus the Batman when it comes to the character, is that the Batman, I think, lives in a little bit more of a smaller box as far as what you can do with that character before it starts to feel very disingenuous and very wrong for the character. So I worked very closely with Michael Sinter-Nicholas, who was our voiceover director on this project, and we just try to stay true to what we would say is, okay, that's our Batman. So no real difference between this or Unlimited or Arkham Origins, really. Thankfully with this, Unlimited was a little more for kids. So, I keep looking at Gary. I'm sorry, that's a nervous habit.
Don't look at me. Now you got me thinking of Siegfried and Bruce, though, is the problem here.
What's that?
Batman and Roy.
Okay, there we go. That'd be good. Yeah.
Okay, there isn't a Siegfried and Roy fan in the room. I like that. And he didn't do this voice yet. We're going to ask Tony a question now. Yeah. Marty, Tony, there have been so many iconic people who played this role and brought it to life between Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, and whoever that last guy was. So, just kidding. Sorry, it was the first guy, Cesar Romero. How did you take this role and make it your own?
I don't know. I mean, I think I kind of had a blank slate. I didn't really know much about the world. I knew I had heard Mark Hamill, who just did it, brilliantly. But I just I talked when we went in. We hadn't read the script. We didn't really know what was happening, and so they kind of guided us along. And he had such a lasciviousness to him that I thought was really fun to play. But it was fun to play evil. I don't typically, my characters are typically pretty defeated and meek. And so they're kind of defeated morons. So this was I guess this was another defeated moron. It was just it was a different side of it. But it was fun. And also like we as the voice actors come in and obviously have fun in the booth and that kind of stuff. But honestly, all the credit goes to the artistry that you saw on the screen. Like what these people have created is so stunning, and I'm blown away by what they put on the screen. It's just such beautiful art. So thank you for what you guys created. Seriously.
Jumpei, give him the microphone. The action in this is insane, especially by American standards. Is this common for you, or is this taking a step up?
まあ動画が特にアクション場面がもう狂ってるほど素晴らしいんですけど、こうやって水崎さんの作品が通常基準なんですか、それともやっぱり特になんか努力されて。
And what is your process for choreography on these?
そういうコリオグラフィーに関してもちょっとお話してもらえますか。特にその解決。
まず全体的なアクションの密度とか完成度なんですけど、普段アニメーションのオープニングとかを中心に作っているので、オープニングは基本90秒なんですよね。で今回がほぼ90分なので60倍、ただ60倍になったからといって90秒のオープニングの密度が薄まることなく、90秒のオープニングが90分続くような気持ちでまず作ってます。
So to answer the first part of the question, in terms of the detail and intensity of the action scenes, I normally have worked most on opening sequences for anime, and those are typically on average 90-second length. However, this movie is about 90 minutes in length, so it's 60 times that length. Yet I didn't want to lose that level of intensity and detail, and so I tried to maintain that throughout from beginning to end. あと
縦の部分は、ちゃんと舞台とかで刀を持ってそのアクションをする役者さんに全体的に縦手のジョーカーとバットマンの縦の攻防つまりですね、戦いを全部提案してもらって、日本刀に慣れているバットマンとあんまり刀で戦ったことないジョーカーがどう戦うのかで、あとはもう一つ一回これ訳しちゃったんです。
So, in terms of the battle scenes in particular, I actually hired actors that already were action or stunt actors that already had backgrounds in katana fighting. They often do these fight scenes on the stage, for example. And I actually said, well, if you take these characters, Batman and Joker, and you had them fight, what kind of moves would you have them do? How would they hold these weapons that they must not be familiar with? And I actually had them give me ideas on how the action should proceed.
あとまっすぐ安定した場所で戦わせると緊張感も生まれないので、天守閣の屋根の斜めのところで戦わせるんですけど、その斜めのところで戦ったらどうなるかっていうアクションのプランを作るためにスケートボードのハーフパイプの練習場に行って、そこで役者さんと我々とで斜めをどう生かして戦うかっていうのはいろいろとプランを立てました。
And I feel that any battle or fight scene that takes place on flat ground isn't exciting enough. It doesn't get you worked up enough. So I said, well, how would we make it even more intense and even more exciting for audiences? And that's when I thought up the idea that we'd have them battle on the roof of the Arkham Castle, where it's actually on a diagonal plane. And in terms of how we ended up filming and how I had the actors actually act out those scenes is we took them to a skateboarding park and had them practice and kind of work out the scene on the half pipe.
Hey, I've had the blessing of being able to go through this film frame by frame, and I get to see all the little intricacies. The cowbell on Catwoman's neck, the what? Cat bell on Catwoman. I'm allergic to cats, I don't know. The Joker mustache. My question is, what other little things are we missing? What little bells and whistles are in there, pardon the pun, that people will see when they buy it on Blu-ray or digital starting tomorrow or digital tomorrow and Blu-ray on Tuesday. Very good.
Less whistles since I gained weight. But.
皆様これからお買いになる方にとってどういう他にそういうなんかちょっとサプライズとかそういうなんか秀才がありますか？例えば鈴以外になんかファンに注目してほしいこれっていった実際のデザインとかまあアートでもいいですけど。
とりあえず全部コマ送りで見てもらえれば。
Actually, go frame by frame, all of you.
本当に全部作って動いてるんで、でも今日改めて言って思ったけど全然見えてないディティールがいっぱいあるんで、もうぜひもう全部コマで見てもらえれば。
Yeah, there's too many to go into for the limited amount of time we have right now. So I have to say, I know many of you may have caught little things here and there watching it right now, but you can't catch them all unless you go frame by frame. So please buy it. Do it on real slow.
Two-Face's coin.
Two-Face's
Please, like I want them to know about that.
そのことはちょっと話してください。
そうですね。そうですね。わあ、ありがとう、Thank you。アポがあって。
僕はもうとにかく
そうね、トゥーフェイスのコインがその戦国時代のね、効果とゴッサムの効果がこう両面になっているっていうのとか見えなかったでしょ？ね、そうそう、ゴッサムの。
So I don't know how many of you caught it, but I know it looked initially like just like a coin from the Sengoku era, but the flip side actually still is a coin from the Gotham world. あと傷もついてましたもんね。And of course, there's also the scar or dent in the coin, the scratch in the coin as well.
I don't understand the monkeys, but I love them. One, what's the inspiration for them? And two, what's the thing in this movie that you guys adore, all of them?
まず最初は、なぜ猿？僕にはちょっと理解するのが難しいんですけど、なぜ猿をお話に含めたんですか
？10歳ぐらいの時に、日本でアダム・ウエスト版の放送があって、それと同時にバットマンのアメコミも訳されたんですね。で、僕が初めて読んだバットマンのアメコミが、バットマンがなんか悪役に注射されてゴリラに変身しちゃってエンパイアステートビルに登ってキングコングの真似をするというコミックだったんです。僕の中でバットマンと猿がすごくニアリーイコールなんですね。
So when I was about 10 or so, the Adam West series had actually been translated and aired in Japan. And at the same time, some of the comics also came over to Japan. And the first issue of Batman I read in Japanese actually had this plot line where the bad guy injects Batman with some sort of like monkey virus where he turns into a gorilla, climbs up the Empire State Buildings and starts fighting the bad guys. So inside my own mind and heart, there's a very close tie between primates and Batman. で、あとその追加として皆さんに答えてほしいんですけど、猿でもいいですし、猿以外に何が一番思い出深い一瞬だったとかキャラクターだったんですか、この映画の中で。
とりあえず猿のことなんですけど、中島さんのその猿の思い出、猿とバットマンの思い出を僕は知らなかったので、 僕もなんでなんだろうって思いながらデザインをしてたんです。
Well, first of all, let me answer about the monkey question, actually. You know, I actually had no idea about this backstory with Mr. Nakashima and monkeys. So when I was asked to design the monkey character, I was like, what the heck?
What the sound?
Batman is monkey.
でもモン吉はすごい俺大好きなんですよ。
Well, I do like Monkey-ji. I have a special little spot in my heart for Monkey-ji. 監督なんか
猿の話じゃなくてもいいですよね。
猿以外でもいいです。
僕バットマンのガジェットのバットモービル、バットウィング、バットポット全部好きなんですけど、今回は戦国だからそれらの武器は使えないし、割と前半でなくなっちゃうんだけど、全部入れたかったんですよ。もうバットモービルもバットウィングもバットポットも全部入れたかった時にプロデューサーのアイデアに乗っかったんですけど、全部マトリョーシカみたいにバットモービルの中にバットウィング、バットウィングの中にバットポットっていう全部入れこうすれば全部出せるやんっていう。でそのスピード感がすごい僕シークエンスはすごい好きです。
So actually, of course, part of the whole Batman universe are the Bat gadgets, right? So you have the Batmobile, the Batwing, the Batpod, and except they're time travel to ancient Japan, so you kind of can't really use them very long. And not only that, but as you saw in the movie, in the story, the part of the plot was that they kind of all get destroyed very early on. But so I was like, how can I really want to include all the gadgets, and I was like, how am I going to do this? And when I kind of was discussing this with the producer, they were like, well, why don't you just have it so that it's kind of like a turducken. One thing is inside the other, you've got the Batmobile, inside the Batmobile you got the Batwing, and inside the Batwing you got the Bat motorcycle. So that's what we went with, and it's the whole like rapid sequencing of that scene is particularly dear to me.
ちょっとわかります。で、そこのバットボットまで行けば、それはやっぱり変身して、ロボットになるっていうのは日本人は何でもロボットに従うんで、やっぱりそれはロボットにするんですよね。で、じゃあモビルアーマーになった時に何と戦うか。ベインがいたぞ。じゃあベインと相撲しようっていうのが流れの、決定的な流れでしたね。
I just wanted to add a little extra to the end of that. So we were like, so what would the next logical sequence be after the Batpod? And of course we're Japanese. What do we think of? Robots. So then we said, okay, so we have Batman in a mobile suit. Now what? And we said, Bane as a sumo wrestler. Let's have them fight sumo style. And that's the kind of thinking process we had during this whole creative process.
ベインバスター。
Bane Buster.
いやでもガジェットは全部バットモービルからアーマードバットマンまで5分で全部出てきて全部壊れる。そう。
So the incredible thing is, if you think about it, or if you time it out, you have the whole transformation sequence all happening within 5 minutes. And not only does it all happen in 5 minutes, they all get destroyed by the end of it.
Voice actors, great.
To she had custody for a little while, fodder for it. I love, and it's not just because it's my character, but I love that Catwoman uses her time traveling to take antiques and resell them in the modern day. And the funny thing is because my son asked me once, if you could time travel, what would you do? And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, I would go back in time and get a bunch of antiques and then sell them. And this is before I ever saw this movie. And I was like, then I'd sell them and just like make a ton of money off of it. And he like had this horrified expression, and I was like, what? And he goes, and I said, why? And I said, what would you do? And he's like, I was gonna like warn people about the Holocaust and stuff. And I was like, I just felt like the worst person ever. I said, well, you're a better person than me then, Tex. So anyway, so it's funny how Catwoman and I have a lot in common. I don't know how proud I am of that, but.
Tara?
Wow, you are a horrible person.
Okay, what was my favorite part, right? Okay, I had a lot. I love this scene where it's like different art and Joker and Harley don't know who they are.
That was my favorite.
Beautiful. And did you guys all get when she has the flower that's what kind of wakes her all up? I just love that symbolism. It's just beautiful. But I also love when she's like kicking ass with Joker, because I find in this film like Joker's not mean to Harley at all. They're equal. Yeah. And I love watching them kick butt together. I thought, you did a good job. Like, it's good. And I really love our fight scene. I thought it was really, really well done. And any scene that you're not in. I hate Roger. Me and Roger have this hilarious joke that I hate him. And we do Ben 10 together, and the same day we do Unikitty together. And so all day it's me hating him. And we always like make stupid jokes about how much we hate each other, and I totally forgot he guest starred on the new Rocky and Bullwinkle show. And I was like, oh, Roger's coming in, I really hate him. And I forgot that they didn't know the joke. I was like, oh, do you not want to be in the session with him? Oh, whoops. Anyway.
We all have that joke about Roger that we all hate him.
We hate Roger. Look at
I'm just
him.
happy to be here, everybody. 24-hour pass from the hospital, so I'm good.
I also loved when it changed. When we kind of became farmers. Typical storyline. But it looked like a painting. Like it just, the whole thing was like a class. It was just stunning, and I loved that. And I also when Joker started getting really darker towards the end, his hair came down, and it just went from this like nice little ponytail to like this just really darkness, and I love the look of that.
Monkey Cheese Girlfriend. Nobody cosplayed as her because I've claimed it. New York Comic Con, I will be the only Monkey Cheese Girlfriend cosplaying grown man. No, that was my favorite. It was Wilfred L's line because it's Monkey Cheese Girlfriend that suddenly appears, and Will just in classic Will style just goes, "Who's she?" Just like Monkey Cheese Girlfriend.
Can I say one other thing? Like visually, their design was so beautiful. I love that scene where Batman realizes he has all these ninjas already fighting him and worshiping him. And when they show the history of it, I got teary. Like it was so beautifully done. That was beautiful.
Tell them how beautiful it is.
I could ask questions all night and listen to these guys talk. It just slays me. But let's get some questions from you guys, because I've got 5 posters to give away. All right, you know what? You're going to come up here, and I'm going to pull the microphone out for you. State your names.
Do I hold it, or do you hold it?
Say your name.
I'm Skylar from Kingston, New York. I don't know if that's right. That's what I'm supposed to do at NYC.
By the way, anywhere else in the country, it's I'm Skylar. In New York, it's always I'm Skylar from the Bronx.
I just want to say, the voice actors, you guys just blew it out of the park. It was a great job. And the animators, directors, you guys did a fantastic job melting me away in my seat. Me and my friends were just crumbling over here throughout the entire film. I wanted to ask, usually Damian Wayne is kind of a self-pretentious, like, you know, privileged kind of kid. You went really happy-go-lucky with him. You gave him a monkey, you took away the dragon flying beast type of thing that he usually rolls with. And yeah, he was kind of like the good kid. What made you go that direction with him?
デミアン・ウィンは普段はもうちょっとなんか生意気でなんかすごいわがままな少年に描かれてるんですけど、今回すごく明るくなって、まあその竜みたいななんか猿になったりとか、なんでそういう方向に方向性に行ったんですか？
あんな幼い子供が2年も知らない外国にいたら苦労するから丸くなるのは当然でしょ？
Well, I mean, if you take a kid of that age and stick him in feudal Japan for 2 years, don't you think he'd end up like that too?
Ah, いましたね。
Got one walking up here. I had to pick the guy in the middle of it.
Hello, my name's Nathan. Everybody did a wonderful job. I was blown away. Pretty much my question is, I saw a lot of different art and sequences. So I was wondering, what are the biggest inspirations when it came to all the different art styles that you put into the film?
多分これは岡崎さんと水崎さんへの質問なんですけど、いろんなアートスタイルとかいろんな世からの影響を受けたように僕には思ったんですけど、どういうなんかどうやってそのアートスタイルとか決められたんですか？
アートスタイル。まず最初スタートゴッサムから戦国に飛ぶ前のゴッサムの場面はやっぱアニメーテッドシリーズのシャドウがすごく黒く落ちてたりとかくっきりしてるやっぱアメリカで作られてるバットマンのアニメのイメージをやっぱ最初のゴッサム、あと最後帰った後のエンドクレジットの方のゴッサムはやっぱそういうイメージに揃えています。でそこから
So in terms of the initial scenes that take place, or the initial scene that takes place in Gotham, and that very little tidbit at the end, I have to say I was inspired by the Batman animated series, the US animated series. Especially in terms of how the shadows fall and like the light-dark play.
で戦国につまり日本に来てからはやっぱ日本のスタイルにしようということでスケッチ調のシャドウだったりとかはもう岡崎さんの絵のタッチをなるべく再現してやっぱ背景とかにも背景の空にも柄が入ってるぐらい日本人でもやらないぐらい日本推しの絵にしています。
And in terms of once they time slip back to Japan, feudal Japan, I decided, well, since they're in Japan, might as well use Japanese influences and Japanese art style. And so part of it was I wanted to preserve as much as possible the wonderful shadow lines and so forth that Bob had put into the original character designs. But even if you look carefully at some of the background scenes, there's Japanese traditional paper patterns in the sky. And that, I think, was definitely probably even more Japanese than most Japanese creators would put in. But I just wanted everyone to kind of immerse themselves in Japanese art.
Come on up.
My name is William, and I think the movie was really good, and I like the idea of Batman being the ninja. And my question was, how did Catwoman change into a suit?
You mean in the very early scene when she goes from the kimono into the cat suit? Oh.
Spanx.
最初にカトマが着物姿で出てきて、突然そのキャッツスーツになったんですけど、どうやってあんな早く変身できたのかってで、声優さんがスパンクスと言われました。
いやいや、いいですか？忍術です。
忍術。
Very good. Leave it to the kid to find the issues.
How's everyone doing? My name is Dylan and I'm from Brooklyn! New York. I had to say again, it was amazing. All you guys are amazing. The voices were great. The Joker, Harley, Catwoman, Batman. I mean, it's great to see you guys here. The artwork is just incredible, and the fight sequences. So I'm a martial artist, and I'm really impressed with the fight sequences. I study Taekwondo, but I have friends.
Question.
The question is that, like, because I'm a fan of the martial arts, how do you guys come up with those sequences? And what is your influences on how to make them, realistic, so that way someone like me can appreciate the moves? Like, I really appreciate it.
自分自身も武道とか習ってるんですけど、どういうふうにその武道を取り組まれたんですか？やっぱりその特にそのアクションシーンとかでどうやってその剣の持ち方とかもう最初から最後までどういうふうにそれを取り組まれたんですか？
もううちのスタッフに武道をやってる者がいて、シーンごとに刀の握ってるところで怪しかったら呼んできて、これ大丈夫って言って見てもらってます。
Actually, we had a couple of folks on our production staff, the animation staff, that actually also study martial arts. So if I was worried about a particular scene, like even if it was like the grip on the weapon, I'd call the staff person in question over and say, hey, what do you think? Does that look right? Or how, if it doesn't, how do we fix it?
Oh, we just walk
So
out?
we had consultants on set, as it were.
As he keeps calling people up and pointing to him.
Hi, my name is Venetia, and I'm from the Bronx. And so, I want to say I loved it. Everything was great visually. All the characters came together. But I have one thing that I wanted to know. You had a little Easter egg in here where the fight scene with Batman doing the, as you say, in the Karate Kid movie, when the teacher and the students were prayed together before they got into the fight. I want to know, was that really what you meant to put in the scene with Joker and Batman together?
You mean towards the end?
Yes.
最後の方の場面で印を結びますよね、バットマンが。それってやっぱりその空手キッドとかからの影響があったんですか？なぜその印を結ぶ場面とか決めたんですか？
忍者は精神集中するときに印を結ぶっていうのは、これはもう日本古代の伝統なんですね。臨氷と社会人絶大絶と。それに乗っかって、あそこでバットマンが忍者になったというのをはっきり出すということですよね。
So actually, it's part of ninja lore in Japan that ninjas weave signs before they do their jutsu, kind of, or partly also kind of as a mental calming and mental preparation, but also to then produce the jutsu. So part of why I wrote it into the script was because I wanted audiences to know, Batman has actually fully embraced being a ninja and he's become a ninja at that point.
Sorry. Good evening. My question is, yes, I have a name. My name is Alyssa. Nice to meet you all. Sorry if I'm a little nervous, but my question is, for the villains, they specifically had a particular, I know they had a particular region, but as their castles turned into giant mecha robots, I wanted to know what were the inspiration or what reference that you had for each villain? And for the voice actors, what were your impressions of those machines?
2 questions.
悪役がやっぱりいろんな地域の大名になってるんですけど、なぜその地域をそのキャラクターに選んだんですか？また特にお城がそのロボットに変身した時はやっぱりどうやってなんかどこかインスピレーションを受けたんですか？
いいですか？じゃあ大名のそれぞれ日本の大名のキャラクターがいて、それと合うゴッサムのキャラクターと合わせたわけですね。武田信玄とか上杉謙信とかいるんですけれども、上杉謙信は非常に中性的ですので、ポイズンアイビーにして、例えばトゥーフェイスの明智光秀は本当に諸君を裏切るんでトゥーフェイスにしたとか、そういうそれぞれの、キャラクターに合う形でうまくはめ込んでいきました。例えば伊達政宗って本当に固めだったりするんでね、ということですね。まずそこまでいきましょうか。上杉謙信です。上杉謙信、中性的な女性だったという説もあるんですよ。
So I actually, my influences were I actually took actual daimyo, historical daimyo, the feudal lords, and I kind of took the history that's known about them and the personality that was written about them and matched them to see what the best fit would be if a Gotham character happened to become them. And so there are various characters like Takeda Shingen, and for example, Poison Ivy, I chose to be Uesugi Kanshin, partly also because there were rumors that he may have been a she, after all. And then, for example, the feudal lord Date Masamune actually had lost an eye, so he had an eye patch. So that's why he became Deathstroke. So that's kind of the thought process I went through.
あれでも会社はいいのかな、これ日本の東映っていう会社で作ったスパイダーマン、ね、東映のスパイダーマンはレオパルドっていうロボットに乗るんですよ、なのでアメリカンヒーロー、アメコミヒーローを日本で作るときはロボットに乗せなければいけないのかなと思ってそのように作ってます。レオパルド。レオパルド。
So there's an anime or a film company called Toei who also produces animation. But when they made a Spider-Man, they had this robot mecha called Leopardon. And so I just had it in my mind that if you brought Western superheroes into Japan, that they all had to kind of ride inside giant robots.
As a mother of three, a castle that turned into a superhero would be amazing. I think my boys would love that.
Okay, my name is Sean, and my question is for the entire panel. As far as this film goes, were there any challenges in bringing the story to life?
皆さんに答えてほしいんですけど、特にそのチャレンジ、難問とか課題とかありましたでしょうか、このお話を実現するに。
猿が受け入れられるかどうか非常に不安でした。
I guess my biggest worry was whether American fans would accept and love the monkey characters.
僕はもうデザイン、僕もすごいバットマンファンなので、こうバットマンファンの皆さんにちゃんと受け入れられるかっこいいバットマンとヴィランを作ろうっていうのがもう本当にもうそれだけがもう一番難しくて大変難しくて楽しかったと思います。
I would say that was both most difficult and yet most rewarding and fun for me was that I'm a huge Batman fan myself. And I wanted to make sure I could bring to screen really cool Batman and supporting characters that all of you would fall in love just as much as I love the property.
僕中島さんの本が90分に入らなくてでもすごい全部楽しいからどこも聞きたくなくてもうどうやって90分に入れるかそれがもうすごい大変だと思う。
So in terms of me, Mr. Nakashima submitted to me such a brilliant story and script, and yet I was like, how am I going to fit this in 90 minutes? And yet it's so brilliant, I don't want to cut any of it. So I think having to edit and whittle down the story was the most challenging part for me.
Well, I'm just so glad that they're still bringing me back as Catwoman. It was so beautiful that I thought, why isn't a celebrity playing Catwoman? And then I thought, that's not a good thought to have, right? You should I'm not my biggest fan. But yeah, no, I was just happy to still be able to do the voice after all these years. So. No challenges with Tara. She's
We're talking challenges? It was a lot of screaming for JoJo. A lot of laughing and a lot of screaming. But it was so fun. I want to make sure this guy with the gray hat also asks a question too, because he's been up and down and wanted to get a question. Afterwards.
He's not sure whether to get in line or raise his hand. I've been following the journey with him. At one point he got up and then someone else got, and then he was told to sit down and then someone else got up and then they asked a question. He was like, what the hell?
There is method to my madness. You're not seeing me orchestrating the audience, bringing them up one at a time.
But I have been riveted, like, is he gonna get to ask? Sometimes he half-heartedly goes, and then he kind of like, it goes down again.
All right. Hang on, my name is Roger, and I'm from Southern California's beautiful San Fernando Valley.
Challenges, Roger?
Honestly, thank you. My reputation precedes me. The biggest challenge for me, in all honesty, is always, sorry, Gary, hi, everyone, is always in shutting up and just performing, because when you covet these roles, like coveting these things, as you well know with like Rocky and Bullwinkle, any of these things mean so much to us as performers, that to get to step into the shoes and do this, and not think about that, not be aware of it as you're being asked to deliver a performance. That for me is always, because the whole time I'm in there, I'm going, I'm gonna be Batman, I'm gonna be Batman, I'm gonna be Batman. And not think about that, so you can just kind of shut up and listen to the director and have them do what they want. Sarah likes it when I shut up. Best.
All right. Hi, my name is Caesar, and I'm from Jersey City. And my question is for the filmmaker. I typed my notes, so I messed this up. This seemed to be like a massive match of classic Japanese film and animation. At which point in the process did you think this would be a great world for Batman to be in? Was it just one person, or was it a collaboration?
この映画は結構その元々の伝統的な日本の実写の映画とかアニメとかいろんな混ざって出来上がった作品に見えるんですけど、誰がこのバットマン忍者というお話がなれると思いかけたんですか？
バットマン忍者というタイトルをプロデューサーが思いついて、であとはもうだったらこういう話だよねっていうのをすごく。割とすぐにできます。
それは一人個人的に考え出したんですか？それとやっぱりその一組として、まあチームとして考え出した。
最初のバットマンが戦国時代に行くってアイデアは僕ですけど、その後の作品的にはもう3人で作っていきました。
So it was actually the producer that actually came to us and said, we have this project we'd like you to work on where Batman is, and we want Batman and Ninja. And I personally was the one that came up with the idea that, well, then let's have him time travel back to the feudal Japan. But then all the ideas that you see on screen after that was a collaboration between everyone on the team.
All right. Tony's favorite, come on up.
After so many years trying to get over to the stage. My name is Carlos. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Over my riveting journey of trying to get to the stage, I had so many technical and masterful questions, but all I can really think is, when are we going to get German Samurai Batman back?
いろんな質問があったんですけど、結局そのさっきのすごい素晴らしい演じいつそのドイツなまりのバットマンの作品が出来上がるんでしょうかとしか考えられなかったです。
And might I add, yes, when are we going to?
それが実際提案した企画までに。
日本人に言われてもね。
Yeah, but you guys realize we're Japanese. You really want us to be making something like that? やっぱり日本のチームに作ってほしいです。
Hi, my name's Spencer. I'm from Staten Island, representing. Just want to say thanks so much for doing a great job. I'm a huge Batman fan, and this really was like a Batman story that we've never seen before. This is a question for the filmmakers. I was just curious how you went about writing, sort of like kind of scaling the action scenes throughout the script. You know, because you went really all out with like the first scene with the Batmobile and breaking Batman down, and then sort of rebuilding him back up. So I was kind of wondering, because I know that's a big thing in anime, like with Kill la Kill, for example, like kind of like having these battles that keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but then also having like a more personal battle at the end, like for example, like Batman and Joker. So I was wondering how you sort of like balance that out.
これは多分一番答えやすいのが中島さんとさっきなんですけど、特にこの作品はもう見たことないバットマン作品だったんですけど、どうやってそのアクションとドラマとの割合を決められるんですか？
一応脚本を書いて、で脚本の中にもアクションのイメージはありますけど、その後は監督に委ねてバランスを考えてもらったって感じですかね。
In terms of my role as a screenwriter, I mean, of course I did include all the action scenes in the script, but I kind of left it up to the director, Mr. Mizusaki, in terms of the actual pacing, so I'll let him answer in terms of pacing.
そうまあ、さっきのもう一人前の方の質問にも答えたかったんですけど、高島さんがその基礎的なプロットが出てきて、で、岡崎さんがキャラクターのアイデアをその上にこう載せてって、僕はじゃあ映像の演出上のイメージをアイデアを載せてって、そしたら長嶋さんがじゃあこうしようって長嶋さんが上に上がってきて、岡崎さんがそれに対してこのキャラはこう、僕も演出上こうしたいっていうふうにやってるうちにすごい大きいハンバーガーみたいなものになってきました。
So I actually want to start by answering the previous fan's question in terms of like how the story came to be. And I have to say it was definitely collaborative, but not in the way you might think. But first of all, I got the wonderful script from Mr. Nakashima. Then I layered it with the wonderful character designs by Mr. Okazaki. And then, of course, I'm the director, so I add kind of the sequential art to that. But then I'd go back to, then Mr. Nakashima would be, so if you're going to do this, then let's do that. And he'd add even more ideas. And then Bob would add more ideas. And then I would add more ideas. Until it was like a mega burger. Like almost like you have 10 patties in it because we each want to add more patties to make the story complete.
Careful, we're Americans. We're like, we need to make that.
それいい提案ですね。そういうハンバーガーを作ってくださいって言いたいぐらいです。で、あとそのやっぱりドラマとそのアクション場面の割合とか、まあ言われば漫画で言われば小回りに関しては。
割合。
まあバランスはどう捉えたんですか。
ドラマ要素ありましたっけ？
Was there actual character and plot development? I feel like it was pretty much all action. Just
何を言ってるんだ。
What are you talking about? Of course there is. Oh no, I got yelled at in front of all of you.
でももう見せ場ばっかりでしたからね。見せ場。
Well, but everything was, you know, all for you guys, you know.
The last question, stepping up now. Oh, I've denied these guys food for about 8 hours. So it's time to bed, then we gotta get going. Everybody has to go to sleep. Get up early tomorrow morning and find it on digital. Come on up.
I am so nervous, my heart is pumping for these amazing voice actors. My name is Darnell from the Bronx, the DX Up. So, just for you guys, I did a voice acting video and it sucked so badly, but just to get something on you, what do you do in the booth to capture the character, capture the essence of like Harley Quinn, the Joker, Batman, Catwoman? What do you do? Like, what type of quirks do you like? I'm gonna do this. Like, I need to know because that's just awesome. Especially you, Tara. It's my first time seeing you in person.
I don't have like they asked me out during the interviews that there's no drink or there's no anything that I do special. And I'm always trying not to make noise on the microphone because I'm kind of a spazzy person, and so I'm always like, don't make noise, great. But a lot of times we'll have like just like a line that kind of gets us into it. So I'll just say like meow, or this kitty has claws, or just because she's all about just stretching out, that kind of thing like that. So I don't know, I just say a few lines and then it kind of clicks you into it.
I actually like a lot of different drinks with me. I don't know why. I like to have 5 different drinks, whatever I'm in the mood for. Nothing alcoholic, calm down, okay? But with Harley, it's like, well, with any other character, and since you want to get into voiceover, this will be valuable for you. You really like close your eyes and imagine you are that person and you're in those scenarios. So it's not even like you pre-prep, but when you get there, you sort of become these characters and Harley like comes down to play when it's her turn, and it's so much fun. Like a lot of times if you're doing a video game or a lot of screaming, you get cranky because you know you're gonna blow your voice out, but whenever it's Harley, I'm like, yeah! And I get to take out all my frustrations! It's like therapy! I don't know, I get really excited, same like you, Rod, but I'm like, wow, I'm Harley, like it's just so fun, but you really do imagine yourselves in those scenarios when you take on these characters.
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, I think it's just, don't be afraid to do the same physicality in the booth, the same acting, because I think when your body's active doing it, it'll relay into the microphone. Because I think many people are maybe afraid to do that, but just kind of go crazy. Allow yourself to lose it in the booth, and it'll come out, I think, or hopefully come out in the performance.
Sorry.
May I, sir? Tara, may I have the microphone?
Moving on.
Strong. For me, this is a very collaborative process. I've had a lot of people ask over the years, like, how did you come up with the voice of? And my answer is always, I don't really know many of us that get a chance to walk in and go, here's the voice I'm going to do for you, and it'll be brilliant, and you'll just take it. And so it's a very collaborative process with the writers, the creators, and the voiceover director. And so I rely very heavily on the people that are in the room to help me and guide me and make sure that I'm staying, like you were saying, with lines and reference lines to say, like, you know, what would I say to remind myself of, oh yes, that's the version of Batman we're doing. But I look at it like, there's so many other people that are responsible for the character, so I like to rely on them throughout the process to make sure they go, ooh, you're drifting a little far away, or you're putting too much oomph behind it, that kind of thing. So I look at it like, it gives me sort of calm in knowing they've got my back, and hopefully I can be that vocal lump of clay. Also doing everything I can to never make eye contact with Tara.
Smart.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming.